Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris Stallings. You know me here on YouTube as MarauderEX, and as always, I'm your host for Operation Recap, where I take some of the stories from Rainfall.com, and I share them here on YouTube.com, because .com cross-promotion is what I do. Again, I'm doing a 2-week recap, because last week I had an event that I was hosting, and then I had to recover from. It was just, I woke up the next morning like, no, I have no voice. So, 2-week recap. I know I'm gonna have to stop doing this. I'm sorry, but let's burn through 2 weeks worth of news as quickly as humanly possible. Let's aim for that. We're gonna work our way from like yesterday back to 2 weeks ago. So we're gonna start with the newest and go backwards. Most recent, yooka-laylee Kickstarter reaches funding goal in 38 minutes. If you don't know what yooka-laylee is, it is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. It is the game that they were like, hey, we want to do another Banjo-Kazooie game, but we can't because we can't do Banjo-Kazooie because Microsoft owns it. And then the developers like, hey, let's just make another game that's very, very similar but not the same. Let's put it up on Kickstarter, and in 38 minutes, you got your response of people want this game. So, yeah, the Kickstarter means it is going to come out on the Wii U, PS4, Xbox One, Windows, Mac, and Linux. So it's got a fairly impressive pedigree already, and then depending on what stretch holes it reaches, depends on what other systems it could come to. So, yeah, ridiculous amount of money in 38 minutes. Way to go, guys. Congratulations. Speaking of other Kickstarter projects that raised ridiculous amounts of money, Mighty Number 9, the, spiritual successor to Mega Man. Lots of spiritual successors here on Kickstarter. It has a release date and is getting a physical copy release for the PS4. It's going to be released to Kickstarter backers on September 15th of this year, and then to the rest of the world, September 18th. So a 3-day difference between backers and not quite a lot of time between people who kickstarted the project, but I'm just glad to see this game's finally coming out. It seemed like there was a lot of information for it, and then very little, and then trickles of information here and there. It's like I was hoping for a little bit more consistent news, but I'm still very excited over the game. So yeah, check that out. It's going to be available digital and now physical. So great. And in news that makes me feel like it's, 1999, Dragon Ball is getting a new series. It's like, what am I, in high school again? Yeah, Japan has announced that after, 18 years, there is going to be a new Dragon Ball series. So, yeah. I got nothing. Like, I wanted to have a joke for this. But I can't. I just can't. I can't. I'm actually kind of excited for it because, I liked Dragon Ball was entertaining, but very few people seem to have watched it. Dragon Ball Z was just, a cultural phenomenon. Dragon Ball GT was kind of a letdown coming off of Dragon Ball Z. So I'm really excited to see what this is actually going to do, if it's going to be worthwhile. Curiosity killed the cat. And then a lot of news coming out of Konami. They, again, working backwards, they delisted theirself from the New York Stock Exchange, which, raised a lot of questions, but then it was also paired with, like, the day before, they canceled Silent Hills. They announced that the project with Kojima and Guillermo del Toro is just not happening. And those two things raised a lot of questions about the current financial state and stability of Konami. A lot of, internet, day traders and investors were chiming in, and it was I have to wait and see. Sega did something very similar, and as much as I like to harp on Sega for a lot of legitimate reasons, there was a lot of people saying Sega was dead the second that they pulled a similar restructure. And then there's the entire culture of Nintendo, that Nintendo is just going to go belly up, even though they have been making profit and had enough profit from the Wii that they're like, yeah, we can just kind of coast for the next 10 years and not do anything, and we'd be fine. But no, Nintendo's going to go belly up any day now because, the colossal failure of the Wii U. So it's one of those things. looking at this one particular thing, it looks bad, but maybe in the grand scheme of things, maybe it's to make them look a little bit better, maybe it's to, you know, do another project, I don't know. I'm kind of bummed about Silent Hills. I do not like the Silent Hill franchise. I do not like the survival horror or, you know, scare genre, but I gotta say, PT was entertaining, it was interesting, it was something different, and then leading into the fact that it was going to be Silent Hill, yeah, but hopefully Konami comes up with something else. Hopefully they are able to mend whatever is going on between them and Kojima to bring the Silent Hills project back. I really would like to see something like this happen, because that looked like it was going to be great. And the last story for this is Xenoblade Chronicles X. A lot of new information came out. One of the things that happened was there was a stream, and some people on the internet got upset, and we posted about it, and then people thought we were claiming that there was a controversy. Like, reading the comments on this article was just, Alright, so one of the characters in Xenoblade Chronicles X is listed as a 13-year-old female, and one of her outfits shows, it's basically a strap across her breasts. That's about it. There's a significant amount of underboob for a 13-year-old. Now, is it sexual in nature? Not particularly. Is it any different than, like, going to a beach? Very, very little. But it's still a child showing a lot of skin in video games. And it's a child. And people say, oh, it's not a child, it's a polygon. There's a reason why in a lot of anime they have to state that the characters are all supposed to be 18 or over, because the second you mention, oh, this character who's getting nude is underage, it makes people in the US a little wiggy, because we are very weird when it comes to sex and nudity. So, that's just how the US is. People, you know, you can see someone, Mortal Kombat X, you can see someone get decapitated and blood spewing out of their neck hole, you know, all day long, but, you know, a little too much cleavage and people lose their minds. So, we wanted to post that this is a thing and that there couldn't be a controversy over it. We don't want to say, yes, this is controversial, because it's not, at least to us. We know that this is probably going to get censored, this is probably going to get changed. There was less, you know, that could be deemed offensive material in, like, Bravely Default, and it was censored, and the internet threw a storm over that. And then there's all sorts of things like the Sinnoh and Kagura games that, you know, got trashed on Twitch. A lot of people got upset over that. It's just we want to say this is here, there's the potential for this to change, so don't say we didn't warn you when it, you know, when an announcement's made of this gets censored, or localized, as they're going to call it. So, is it something that people should freak out about? No. Is it something that people are going to freak out about? Not until after the fact. So, yeah, that's the thing. Not that we're trying to promote some sort of controversy. We're not. We're just going to say, we saw it, we know it's going to change, we're just going to give you a heads up, and then when it changes, you guys can get your torches and pitchforks and go after whatever entity you want to go after at that point. But, you know, we gave you a heads up. So, but anyway, that has been the recap for this week. That has been 2 weeks worth of news. Again, I will try my best to not do 2 weeks at a time. But, you know, having a voice is kind of, you know, a necessity for doing this type of thing. So, I will catch you guys next week, actually next week this time, for another recap. So, till then, later everyone.